So I want to do some of the Q&A, but I'm actually going to start off with a discussion of something that has been coming up on Twitter a lot, and I see every once in a while on the forums and on Facebook, and that's that your real tone cables suck. This is said with alarming frequency. Like, your cables are crap. I've gone through 5 of them this year. And we're like, how? Are you eating them? You know, like, it's just, the cables are made to standard musical spec. They do last if you treat them well. Now, occasionally you are going to get duds. I do remember that there was a batch of cables that made it out with one of the versions of the game that were found to be faulty too late, and all you had to do was call support, and they would send you a proper one. So, you know, lemons aside, if under normal use, you should not be having any problems with our cables. We have cables here from the beginning of the franchise. I personally have had the same cable at home since the very first Rocksmith on 360, and I'm still using that on everything. So I wanted to go over a couple of little things. Here's a cable. Please note the Velcro tie so that it stays all coiled. A couple of things that you should never do. You should never step on your cable. A lot of people, you know, it just gets caught underfoot, and just stepping on it can damage the braided cable, the wires inside. If you play sitting down with an office chair, it's real easy to roll over that cable. I do it all the time here, and I try to be more aware of it, but that can also do it. If you put your guitar down on the ground or even on a stand, and you're putting stress on that cable with it plugged in, unplug it before you put your guitar down. Just, you know, don't drop it and walk away, but yeah, that can also create kinks. Banging into anything while the cable is there. And the other thing is, you know, unfortunately our cables, due to the necessity of the packaging, they come all folded up like a little, you know, accordion kind of fold. Mm-hmm. And what you want is this coiled cable. You know, look at that. It's got its own chair. And the trick to coiling it is, look, see, I didn't even do it right. Brian Poedy, do you want to come out and tell us? Because, no, Brian Poedy works in theater tech, and he's done many live productions. And I believe you just told me that your rule was do it right or you're fired. And there is a right and a wrong way to coil the cable when it's not in use that you may find very useful. So here's my cable, and here's Brian. So how do you recommend we start? How do you do this?
First, I want to say that I really enjoy firing people.
Oh, okay.
For winding cables improperly.
I've seen. I used to do it this way, where you roll it around your elbow. That's terrible.
Yeah,
you should never do that.
It's the old over the arm trick that, you know, everybody
never ever do that.
No, because that will break it. You know, your extension cord that is always in a mess. It's probably because you do that. Right. The way you wind a cable is over under. So you actually put a little twist in it as you're rolling it. So I'm wearing a dark color.
You are. You're making this way harder.
There. So you go like that, and then you come back around, and you go under the next time.
Right. So you're alternating loops here.
Yeah, and you twist it as you go.
Is there
and
a
then
certain
you have
way
this nice
to twist
cable.
it? Is there a certain direction, or do you twist it?
As long as you alternate, it doesn't really matter.
You're just alternating back and forth. And the other really cool thing about this is when you drop your cable,
it drops out straight. And there's no kinks, there's no loops, there's no knots in it. And that's why I knew I had done mine wrong when I was showing the example beforehand. But and this will take a little bit of practice. There's videos on YouTube to do this as well. But yeah, it's not a hard habit to get into.
It's not. And then you don't break your cables.
And you won't get fired.
Yeah, especially with microphone cables. If you see somebody doing that with the microphone cable, that's when they just get kicked off the gig.
Right. So don't get fired in your own home from Rocksmith. But I just wanted to put that out there because I don't like hearing people say your cables are crap. If it turns out that maybe they're just not taking care of the cables, or they just don't know that there is a right and a wrong way to coil a cable or anything like that. Hi, Jared. You're hovering. Do you have some questions for me from Q&A?
Can I interject really quick?
You certainly may.
You know, obviously the cable is made of metal. It's copper in there. So it has memory. So if you wrap it the right way a few times, it's going to want to
You'll train it
keep going that way
to
time.
naturally go that way when you try to do it. So that's a good point. I hadn't considered that.
So one question we got was, do you guys actually transcribe all songs, or are the record companies or